Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
And this is Tiana.
A buddy pal.
A buddy pal, one of our good friends. And we are excited that you are here tonight. Tiana decided she wanted to be here. We'll see how long she actually sticks around. But that is okay. We are happy that you're here. Feel free to contribute in the comments. See, she didn't last very long. We knew this was going to happen.
Because I looked at her
for
too long.
There we go. So we are excited that you guys are here tonight. Thank you for all your comments. And we are going to do a thing tonight.
SpawnCon.
SpawnCon? I don't know what that means.
Sponsored content?
Oh, yes. So that's what we are going to do.
SpawnCon.
But the way we're going to do this is this week, we know what we're going to say. But if you would like, you can help us for next week with what we're going to say for this specific topic. So this is what we're going to say. And then once we're done, we're going to give the opportunity for people to
take a red pen and...
Yeah, to write their own version of this, and we'll read it. Ideally, if it's entertaining, even better. But you have to get the main points that Mouse Travels wants to help you book your next Disney vacation. In fact, travel agents can do a lot of the work for you with no extra cost. In fact, they might even save you money. Just like our good friend Matthew, who is one of the best. And he can do exactly that, save you money. So when you're ready to go to Walt Disney World or Disneyland or any other Disney destination, let Matthew and his team at Mouseways.com take care of you. And make sure to mention, that's the word, Daps Magic sent you, and that will help us bring more magic to you on your devices with news and videos. So go to mouseways.com/dapsmagic for your next Disney vacation and tell them that Daps Magic, specifically Mr. Daps, sent you.
This man is the opposite of Ron Burgundy. You cannot put a teleprompter in front of you.
I hate teleprompters. I like, in my perfect world, I would have a card with like little bullet points, maybe 3 of them, and I could go for a half an hour. And that's basically what we do here on Geeks Corner. So, yes. So that's where we're at tonight. But yeah, if you would like to make your own version of a mouseways.com/dapsmagic travel log, I don't know what to call it, promo, message it to us. Hit the contact button on dapsmagic.com and send it to us. And we will...
That'll be our test that the contact button works. I'm kidding. We know it works.
Do we?
No.
I was like, we think we do, but we don't always know. Like, it's always...
What if people have been trying to contact us for so long? They're just...
Well, that's one way to not get negative comments.
That's a way to black out the haters.
There you go. That's fun. Like we didn't want negativity, so we just got rid of any way to communicate with us.
So now we live in an echo chamber.
Yeah. We just look at this screen and it has stuff on it and it's totally fine.
Now someone's gonna use the contact button about my laugh.
Anyway, let's move into it, huh?
Let's go.
All right. Indiana Jones 5 is still in the works, which I always wonder. James Mangold is going to be the director now. And we learned that this week that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to be in the movie as well. Whether that means she is the love interest of Indiana Jones or a villain or another adventurer, we don't know. But we do know she is going to be in the film. Katie, what has she been in of note? Especially here on Geeks Corner.
Solo! She was the voice of L337.
She did more than voice it, though.
Did she do
she did the mocap too. I'm 90% sure.
I didn't know that.
I've seen that reported places where they're like, oh, she did the voice of the droid. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure in the bonus features, she was in like this weird...
I don't think I ever watched the bonus features.
Oh, they were good. I always like bonus. Well, I like good bonus features.
That's true.
But yeah, I think that's really interesting because I think that could be a very different, like, it could be a different approach to how you have a leading lady or a foil to Indiana Jones.
Definitely.
Either as a good person or a bad person, you know, like as a friend or foe. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I'm really looking forward to with Indiana Jones 5, which was something that I kind of had given up hope on when
Given up A New Hope?
An Old Hope. when Steven Spielberg was no longer directing, I kind of
Mhm.
went, oh, well, that means no new John Williams score.
Mhm.
However, it was announced this week that John Williams is returning to score Indiana Jones 5, which to me is almost as exciting or more exciting than Harrison Ford returning.
Yeah.
In this film. So I have no clue what this film is going to be. What are they going to be going after? I don't know. My hunch is it's been, when was the last movie? Like 6 years ago?
It feels like it was longer than that.
Maybe. So that was in the 50s. Is that right?
That was the Shia LaBeouf one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was definitely longer than.
I don't remember.
Someone
I
tell
think
us when that was. I feel
Let
like
us know
that
in
was
the
like
comments.
pre me being around apps.
It was. So that's, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could push it forward into the 60s, which means you could do some really interesting sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
And fantasy, or just do a Star Trek crossover. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm really curious if anybody has any thoughts on like what is the thing they're going to be seeking after in this, the movie. And honestly, I think you could do something really cool with Mayan temples. I think you could do something really cool with the Sphinx.
Mhm.
I think you could also do something really cool as opposed to them having Russians come to the United States. You could do something where they go. It was 2008.
Oh
it
my
was really that long
gosh.
ago, huh?
So that was way before I came around.
No kidding. Wow. That's
Goodness
crazy. So
me.
2008 is the last Indiana Jones film. Wow.
Woof. See, I felt like it was a while. I was gonna say like 10 years. Didn't think it was
Not
13.
even close.
Woof.
But
Wow.
yeah, I
Search
think
for
you
more
could
about
go.
him.
I think you could go to Russia would be pretty cool. Like go to the Soviet Union and have him
Oh.
like go on the what's the train that goes across Eastern Russia?
I don't know enough about Russia.
What is that called? I'm spacing it. My grandpa and I wanted to do it though. Everybody said it was too dangerous. I don't know. I think that could be a really interesting place to go.
Uh-huh. For sure.
But yeah, we will see what happens with it. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be great. And those are some great titles. All right, let's move it right along. And I don't know. What do we want to talk about next? Let's talk about the Haunted Mansion.
Ooh, spooky.
Maybe it's Indiana Jones goes to the Haunted Mansion. He meets Master Gracie.
Could be.
Maybe it turns into an origin story for a new Master Gracie in a new Haunted Mansion. I don't know.
Spooky.
So yeah, we got a look at it. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So the post elevator scene has been revamped. She looks beautiful. She's thriving. My brain can't process it until I see it.
Are you talking April to December?
So April to December, but also the one-eyed Hellcat, I think is like what it's called, or Demon Cat or something like that, which I think is wonderful. Trans-Siberian Railway.
Thank you. Yes, that was the one.
But it seems like
not to be confused with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
The path to getting onto the walkway seems different.
Mm-hmm.
So my brain can't process that until I see it.
So it looks to me like they have put up plexiglass so that cast members can walk by in the hallway. So, and they've tried to make it look like an iron gate or something as you're walking down the portrait hallway. And then when you flip around, you know, where you turn by the portraits, or not the portraits, the statues that glare at you, that's where you'll get to see April to December.
I also think that the Pet Cemetery looks beautiful. Super excited about the revamp that got.
Well, and I'm just sure there's so much little details that have been just polished in the last
year
or so.
I also feel like we are seeing a fraction of the things that have gotten love.
Do you think there's going to be a big reveal, or do you think that these are the big reveals and they're just going to be little polishes?
No, I think that these are the big reveals, that there's anything that's changed. I think that other things are just going to be working better, or dusted off, or
quieter,
since it's
smoother.
Haunted Mansion, more dust on. Anywho,
dust on, dust off.
Dust off. But yeah, I'm just super excited to see this attraction at all.
So you're saying, Clocky, that they're going to do a Frozen overlay for Holiday Haunted Mansion instead of Nightmare Before Christmas? Is that what you're saying? I'm asking the question.
Well, I mean, Marshmallow is scary.
Some people think Olaf is too.
So
you never know. Like it could go either way.
It's very funny.
Also, we learned this week the different ways that Disney characters will be delighting guests when they return. Do you want to talk about that at all?
I'm just excited to see characters, to be completely honest. I know that they have in that article, it's a list of like where characters are going to be and things like that. I'm just excited to see characters, period.
Which I think is interesting that they're like already being like, hey, they're going to be here and here and here and there. Whereas I feel like in Florida, to some extent, they kept things a little bit more, it's not spontaneous, but looking spontaneous, where they didn't publicize that, oh, Winnie the Pooh is going to be over here at this time. And I don't think they're giving times, but it is interesting how they're definitely like, hey, train station, Mickey and friends, and hey, the theater for Rapunzel and friends.
I just think that Walt Disney World has the one thing that Disneyland does not, which is the blessing of space.
But that's almost more of a reason to not say where they're going to be.
But I think that if you watch Walt Disney World, you know where some characters, you can kind of figure out where people are going to be. And so I think that to avoid crowding of, oh, who's going to be here? Who's going to be here? There's less of that push or that rush. And you can kind of just enjoy seeing a character without the crowding. I don't know. You know, I think
it's going to lead to more crowding.
Yeah, but I mean,
when we know where something is, we go. Like, that's just the way Disney fans work. They're like, oh, we're going right over there. We got, stormtroopers. I don't know.
But I feel like if Disney put this out, they also have a good plan operationally for cast members.
Yeah, to keep it clear.
And
stand on your dot right here. We all need to become experts at standing on the dot.
Yeah. Standing on lines? I was just thinking...
But that's it, right? Is you stand on the dot, right?
No, I was just... Yes. Yeah. I was thinking back to a theme park event we did like a month ago, a couple weeks ago. I don't even remember. But people kept standing instead of on the line. They would be in front of the line.
Oh, yeah.
And then they would inch closer and closer and closer. And it was like, buddy, there's a line.
I very diplomatically just said, hey, do you mind standing behind the line?
And they didn't even realize. To their credit, we're like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But yes, look for the mark on the floor and stand on it.
It will be great. And hopefully they'll be around the characters.
Woo!
The other thing that was interesting that came out just today is that the dress code is changing for Disney cast members. And probably the most dramatic dress code change maybe in the history of Disney in some regards.
Definitely.
But definitely since they allowed beards.
Yeah.
And that
for sure.
Was that 5 years ago? Something like that. Maybe it was 10 now.
We don't have any concept of time.
Well,
here.
it's the problem with this year of this lost year is you lose time and your sense of time, because you used to be like, oh yeah, that was 4 college bands ago.
Oh yeah.
And now it's like, I don't even remember. Yeah, I'm lost.
2020 has been Daft Magic, the lost years.
Yes, it could be a really good Star Trek series. Be connected with Voyager, I feel like. So what do you think about, why don't you give the highlight reels of what the new dress code is, and then we'll talk about what you think of it.
So small visible tattoos are now able to be had by cast members.
It would have been really funny if we'd have planned out this.
What?
When you said that, and if I went, like the one I have right here.
Stop.
And if we'd have had like the little...
You would scare people. You would scare people.
How did I not see that? Oh, I just been hiding it because it wasn't Disney look. No. It would have been great, right?
That'd been funny.
Yeah.
I have Sharpies.
Well, no, we would have gotten the little like stick-on ones.
No, those look too fake.
From all the way across the room, if I went like that?
Potentially.
Okay.
But small visible tattoos are now allowed. No, he doesn't. Or does he? Ooh. Also, a personal highlight to me is that they have taken out any mention of gender in the lookbook entirely. So now the standards are same across the board for everybody, which to me, as somebody who has to enforce standards, is a way easier way to do it, because you're looking at everybody across the board. And also that means that anyone is free to express their gender and themselves however they want. So to me, happier cast members equals a better park experience. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it's going to be the thing about change is it's always hard when it happens. And then once you get through it, it's hard if you were to change it again. Like it's just that I think it's probably the perfect time, to be completely honest, to make this change. And I think people will get through it and it'll be like, it's always been this way. Like they'll forget. Like I love talking to people that have gone to Disneyland much, much longer than me. And when they talk about how there used to be like rock songs played on Main Street, can you imagine if they're just playing the radio on Main Street? It happened.
Yeah.
And that's weird to me.
I agree.
Because it's the reality that I know. And so these changes happen and you hear different opinions on it, and that's fine. Like you can disagree and be agreeable still. And disagree without being disagreeable.
Yes,
that's what I was going for. But you know, it's okay to have these conversations, because I think actually growth is going to come from that. And I've seen the entire range of responses to this today, even on our own post. And and I think it's interesting because I think there's always this temptation to go, what would Walt have done? I don't know. Like I know enough about Walt to know that Walt is a bit unpredictable. He was a visionary. He was, he had a huge imagination, which those people are hard to predict, because like the more I look at what Walt did is like, he didn't make a theme park. Like that's what it started out, but he really was making a community and a town.
Yeah.
And you even look at what he did with Main Street, and then what he did with the idea for Epcot. Like he kind of always had, I think at some level, this idea of creating a new type of community. And the Epcot idea, I think, probably was percolating in his brain. Like there's clues around, if you look at his life, a lot earlier than we ever realized. But all of that to say is the way Walt did things in 1955 are different than what he did in 1965. And not all of those things are what he would have done in 75, 85, or 95. I think there's a very good chance we would have ended up with classic music like we have now on Main Street. I think that would have been part of his evolution of like, oh yeah, this makes for better theming. But I think he also would have changed his thoughts on style, on what's important and what's not in the theme park experience, and how they're going to handle different things, and what that would be. I don't know. Like I'm not smart.
I also think that this is just better reflecting the world that we live in.
Well, and I think Walt did that too.
Exactly.
In fact, I think he would have led on that just as much or as more than what we've seen now.
I agree. But this is reflecting the world that we live in. And it touches on it in the post that Josh D'Amaro put out, which is wonderful. If you haven't read it, or if you haven't watched the video that was put out with it.
Josh D'Amaro is wonderful. I think we should just say that.
I think that we should say that.
Yeah. Maybe we should just make this a Josh D'Amaro fan show.
It already has been. Where have you been? Because I've been there. But I think that they are touching on the point that cast members get to be authentically themselves outside of their job, and then they get to authentically be themselves at their job, which is something that I appreciate at the company that I work for, which it's very strange to me, because we were talking about time being an illusion. Starbucks only lifted the tattoo policy back in 2014. Like, I hired into Starbucks before the tattoo policy was lifted. And you didn't have people rushing out to go get tattoos now that they could have them, but you did have the partners who were able to not wear long sleeves anymore and were able to share those stories with customers about the tattoos. So I think it's great.
And it's another way to connect.
Exactly. It's an artistic expression.
Yep.
So
moving across town, Knott's Berry Farm, we now know will be reopening twice in May, one for annual pass holders and two for everybody else. Isn't that right?
Yeah, you're right.
And I think it's May 6th and May 21st for both of those dates.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I know it's May 21st. I don't know if the first one.
So I think that's kind of exciting to see. And there'll be more details about that as it comes. And we'll probably cover something of some sort, because we'll get Berry Tales. What is that? Is it Knott's?
Knott's Berry Tales.
We'll be opening. Thank you, Angela. And so we'll have coverage of that as it happens. I think it's just worth noting that they have dates And now I think we know all of the Southern California parks that we're focused on. We know their opening dates.
Yes. Well, because Magic Mountain's already open.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
But I was thinking Universal Knott's in Disneyland.
Yep.
So that
and
will be
Adventure
fun.
City. You forgot Adventure City.
No, I didn't.
They open this week. Mr. Dabs. I know you're going to be there this Sunday, Adventure City. Let's go.
So this week, Disneyland released reservations for people that already had tickets that began on, was it Monday morning? You're having fun there. And on Thursday morning, bright and early, we will see a mad dash to Disneyland.com, as I'm sure thousands, if not millions, of Californian Disney guests hop on to buy tickets and then get their reservations. And it is important to note that you need both.
It does say before you purchase a ticket, you should check to see if the reservation is open. But I feel like Thursday is going to kind of be a
mad dash
of you don't have time to be checking.
Well, and I think you could check before and during. Like, you could have two windows open. So I don't think that's going to be as much of an issue as I think that's going to become more of an issue as the park is open longer.
Yeah.
And people are making trips from NorCal or from, whenever it opens up even more from around the country. So that'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if the website can handle all of that traffic. Like, I think that will be... I'm
a little concerned we're going to get a touch of Disney 2.0.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it'll be very interesting to see. I think it's going to be... I think Twitter will be very fun that day. I think everybody needs to bring their patience and recognize that demand is going to be insane. And so not everybody's going to get the way they want it to be. Hopefully that's not us. But it'll be what it'll be. We do have a guide up on the site that gives you directions on how to get your reservations from what we know so far in your tickets. And we'll probably update that once we've gone through the process on Thursday morning. And we will be very intrigued to see how that plays out. Do you have any?
I'm scared. I'm very glad that I don't work on Thursday.
Yeah. And I'll be curious how many people actually do. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of people going for this on Thursday, but on the flip side, there's always that chance of like
everyone is scared away.
Yeah, because that's happened before.
Everyone, it's going to be so bad. Don't do it. I'm kidding. No, I want everyone to have a good Disney experience. I'm not trying to scare anybody away. But it's going to be chaos.
I don't actually know how many tickets one person can buy. The number 6 is popping into my head, but I don't know that that's actually accurate. I might have read that somewhere,
that's
but
just
I can't
like
remember.
The good answer for anything Disney.
6. It's always 6.
6, or you add a 0 and you say 60.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do think if you don't want the stress, I would just wait. Like, let the craziness happen for the first month or two, and then go back in July, August, September. And when you know what the system is, and then I think then it's going to be a lot like booking a DVC room where like the day it opens for whatever days, 60 days later or whatever, there's going to be a little bit of a mad dash, but I don't think it's going to be nearly the same level as what the first 2 months is going to be. I'm also curious to see if we get a sellout of the first 2 months in like the first day or two, or is it going to be like Florida where certain days sell out?
I'm thinking specifically April 30th and June 4th go first.
Obviously. Like, I wouldn't even try for those.
Yeah. Like, I think that those are absolutely going to go first. And then from there, I think it's going to be general weekends, like holiday weekends.
I think Saturdays are probably gone.
Yeah. Things like that. I don't know how far out the calendar goes off the top of my head.
It goes through like June 28th, I think.
That sounds right. So I think that I don't know what holidays are between now and then. I'm very sorry. But any holiday week. Father, yes, those. You are on it, Clocky.
Just for those that are listening to the podcast later, that'd be Father's Day, Mother's Day, Flag Day,
Memorial
Day.
So I think Memorial Day weekend is going to be gone.
Yeah. Although maybe not the Monday. Like sometimes Mondays aren't as busy. And the thing to remember is it's basically the upper tier tickets, which are more expensive. So that is a different, like people might want to wait for the cheaper days to whenever they come.
That's true.
I don't know.
But I think the one thing that puts Disneyland apart from Disney World is that, well, Disney World was only closed for 4 months. Disneyland has now been closed for over a year. Mm-hmm. So there is a totally different demand there for Disneyland than
we think.
Walt Disney World. We think.
Like we're expecting it to be insane, but there is always this chance that it's like there's this pent up demand from a small group. I don't think this is true just by how A Touch of Disney went, but it could be that it turns out they're like, hey, we're not doing it until we can, I don't know, have a later. Well, and the thing I was telling some people the other day is they were wondering about if you haven't been before, is this a good time to go to Disneyland? And I said, that depends. Like if you've been saving up your entire life to go to Disneyland, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Because
the parks close early. You're not going to get the firework experience. You're not going to get the parades experience. You're not going to get to meet Mickey Mouse one-on-one.
Yeah.
And those are kind of those iconic moments in your Disney day. And so I would wait until some of those things return. If it's one of those things where like this is a once in a lifetime trip, or we go every 6 years and we've been saving the entire time to try to make it that much more magical. If it's more of I really enjoy Disney and I just want a Disney experience, go for it. And you don't mind the price. But I do think we will see more tickets released as the tiers change, and then also as Disneyland cast members adapt to how the guest flow works. Like I think Disney will probably not go as fast as Orange County in terms of opening up, if I had to make a guess, because they're going to want to be good at one level first and then expand more. But it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Definitely.
Yeah. June 15th is supposed to be opening back up in the state. And so I would tend to think that's when we'll see out of town reservations allowed again, or out of state reservations allowed again.
We think.
But that's just a guess. And that's assuming numbers continue to go the same direction they're going now.
It's mere speculation.
Yeah, it's all it's guesstimates. That's what they are.
Educated guesstimates.
Yes.
But guesstimates nonetheless.
Yeah. And then you've also got the Avengers campus opening, and we assume that's going to be a fairly big draw, but we don't know. Like and then we don't know what kind of tickets people are going to want to buy. Are they going to buy single park, single day? Or are they going to buy multi-park, multi-day? Like it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out and how the parks accommodate that.
But you know what?
What?
I just watched the first Avenger for the first time. Mm-hmm. I just watched the Winter Soldier for the first time. And I just rewatched Civil War today. I feel like I'm ready for Avengers Campus. Like I'm ready. I can use my other hand because
and you're also ready for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to continue on.
Yeah.
It provides a lot of context.
I understand that show much more now, guys.
Are you enjoying it more now too?
Yes. I also feel like it started off a little bit slower. And then there was some issues in the third episode just because of reshoots. So the story was kind of clunky in the third episode. But I am enjoying it a lot more. And now Mr. Daps frequently gets messages from me going, oh, all of this makes sense now. Because the Captain America movies matter a lot in the MCU grand scale.
And I will say this, I've kind of got this idea in the back of my head, and I don't know if I should say it because I haven't asked anybody about this yet. But after the final episode, which is in 2 weeks.
Oh, thought you meant of Geeks Corner.
Well, I've had some really fun conversations with some of the other Her Universe ambassadors about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they know way more than we do. Oh. So I might invite one or two of them on if they're interested. And geek out with us about the entire show once it's over, and then where we think things will go next. But we're running out of time.
You should go to dapsmagic.com. Check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. find our ticket and reservation guide and use that as your guide when tickets go on sale on Thursday. And subscribe to our mailing list so you don't miss anything new.
That is correct. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the videos that we have coming, especially with the parks reopening. But we're still posting other stuff as we can. But that is all the time that we have for you this week. So we will see you around the corner.
Bye!